Hey, how's it going, guys? Thought I'd do a quick video for shoulder health. I know a lot of us started this stuff kind of around the same time in 2020, and now kind of magically our shoulders are all getting fucked up around the same time. So I thought this might help some of you guys who are having a little bit of pain here. A lot of shoulder issues come from impingement. So you kind of lift the arm and feel that sort of pinch in there. A lot of that comes from the supraspinatus. It's a muscle that runs right along here. It's under the trapezius, and it comes from that muscle getting irritated by the acromion, the bone. Right over there in the shoulder. So here's a couple things that can help with that, and then I'll show you a few things that might help some of the muscles that are maybe causing the issue to begin with. So what they always tell you to do is sort of reach up here, find that dimple between the bony structures and put pressure down. That works great unless you're strong. If you're strong, you probably have a whole lot of trap you're gonna have to push through. And if you're big, your mobility probably sucks, and this isn't the most comfortable position to stay in. So what I do is, at least what I did back when I was big, used a tool like this. This one from Walmart, Target, Dick's, they have them everywhere. I like this one because it has a little bit of a point at the end. And there's a bunch of self-massagers that are kind of this design. What we can do is you can find that point here, put a little bit of pressure on it. And I like this because it has a handle right here that I can sort of bear down on. And once you feel that sensitive area, you can start to move through the range of motion. Basically, your supraspinatus kind of does that. So you find that point, and when you feel like you're kind of working through that trap and getting to the sensitive spot, you can start moving your arm a little bit. You can do stuff like grab something like the rack here and then sort of pull this way to stretch it out. And you can just sort of work through the range of motion there as you sort of work out the sensitive area. So that's a way that you can bring the inflammation down in that muscle a little bit by just sort of working the trigger points out. You can also stretch it. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, these are rubber band, but anything will work. So if it's this arm that's bothering me, I'm gonna sling this over this shoulder. I'm gonna grab it, and then I'm just gonna pull this, and that's pulling this arm into a stretch. So that's stretching that supraspinatus out. You can work it down with that massage tool. You can also have someone like just kind of stand over you and put a thumb or an elbow into your trap. That should work. Now, a couple of the muscles that might actually be causing some of this pain, and you won't notice because you don't actually feel them, are the teres major and the pec. So the teres major is, so it works along with your lat. It goes from about the top of the humerus to the bottom of the scapula. And it's for basic pulling motions. That can get very tight, and that can pull the shoulder joint out of whack and cause pain up here. So what you want to do is, there's a bunch of ways to do this. You can do a lacrosse ball against the wall. You can drape your arm over the sleeve of a barbell. That works pretty good. I'll actually use this thing. So I'll just sort of find the sensitive spot, and I almost guarantee you guys all have a trigger point right here. It can either be a little closer to the joint. That's a little bit tender. I'm usually right here by the bottom of that scapula. It's a little sensitive. Yeah, there it is. So my trigger point's right about there. So I'll just sort of pull. I like to leave this arm relaxed when I do it and just sort of apply gentle pressure. You can also, once you have that in place, you can also lean on something like you would with a lacrosse ball. That all works great. You can move the arm through the range of motion a little bit as you're doing that. You also want to, and you also want to stretch it. So any stretch that works for lat is going to work for teres major because they have basically the same functions. So anything like this, you could do it against a wall like that. Anything that stretches lat, you could use to stretch that teres major out. You also want to take care of the anterior muscles because very often those sort of pull that shoulder joint at a place at the front, that kind of hunchy posture. It's really, an issue with guys who do a lot of pressing, and also, double overhand. So what you can do for that is a couple things. You can just sort of work those out with, lacrosse balls, massagers, that kind of thing is all great, especially at these attachments right here. Want to stretch your pec like that. You can also stretch the subscapularis, that deep internal rotator like this. That will all help. There's also a device I like called it's a bow tie. It's made by Donnie Thompson and Mark Bartley. He owns Spud. I think they're two old school powerlifters. Both really good guys. I don't have any relationship with them. They're just old friends. and you just basically put it over like this. And it basically just puts you in a little better posture. Some of you might be familiar with this. They're pretty popular in strength now, but I'll wear this for about 20 minutes a day. And what it does is just sort of pulls those shoulders back, gives you a little bit of stretch in here, and it gives a break to these muscles back here that tend to get a lot of tension put on them by these guys up here. So if you can work those, like I said, that pec minor major area, teres major, and then that subscap, you should get a little bit of relief in shoulder pain. Obviously, the best thing to do along with all that is rest, but who the fuck are we kidding? We're not going to rest, so try those, and hopefully that'll bring that pain down a little bit.